wrap up our 60 minutes together. So today I'd like to talk about how the foundation sprints sets you up for success. I'm Katalin Szegner. I'm a software project manager, product owner, program manager. I've been doing many things in the past, mostly for tech companies and mostly for biotech companies. Whenever I use project or product development, this could be universal. So I'm mostly going to talk about product development, but the tools that I'm going to show will be perfect for any kind of project that you are running. So this QR code leads you to my LinkedIn. I will show it in the end as well. I won't ask you for any interaction during this talk because I'd like you also to give the opportunity to have your lunch. So, but my promise to you is that in 60 minutes time, you will also know this method that completely changed how I think about product development. And you will also have actionable tools that you can use from today on in your complex projects as well. Let's get started. So in the beginning, when I started to work at biotech companies on product development, what I realized that products are super difficult to ship. Complex projects are so complex that they are almost unworkable. And since I was working in biotech companies, shipping products or nailing the solution is not just a nice to have. Since these projects actually have the potential to save lives, it was really a crucial responsibility to understand that how can we solve a project, how can we deliver the product in the end. I've seen so many great ideas with a huge promise that we launched and in the end they failed, or even more frustrating projects that never even made it to the market. So we try to figure out how to deliver the project, how to crack the code here. What is the solution to successful delivery? And one day we were working on a super complex project for months for an organ transplantation project, where figuring out the perfect match between the donor and the recipient is crucial for the life of the recipient. This is super complex, not just from the chemistry side, but from the computational perspective as well. So nailing this was super difficult for the team. But one day we chose a different approach. We cleared out our agenda and we started thinking about what needs to be true for this project to be a success. And then once we figured out that point, the developers started quick prototyping. And by the end of the day, they could figure out a prototype. Then we could move on and test. This is so far the most successful product that I've ever delivered with the help of this amazing team. So what we wanted to still go on and understand is that how to replicate this success. So I went on and tried to figure out if the recipe already exists. So others already figured out how to solve it. And indeed, I could find that the recipe exists. It's called Design Sprint. It is explained in this book from Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky. It's called the Sprint. And it is a 5-day method to deliver products, prototypes, tested prototypes within a week. So they say that from ideation to a validated tested product, the team can achieve within 5 days. If we change our mindset from designing products to designing the time, how the team works together. This is a brilliant method. I'm sure many of you already used it. This method was adopted by many companies like Slack, Uber, Airbnb, also consultation companies like McKinsey or MIT or Harvard or government project. But what they tried to figure out is that some sprints were successful, some not. So what sets apart the really successful projects from those that didn't and that successful? And what the authors of the sprint book, Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky, figured out, that the differences within the hypothesis that the teams arrive to the sprint with. So many teams, product teams, start to build their product, and then they figure out how to market and sell it. But what they say is that this approach is completely wrong. What we need to do first is that we need to figure out what people want and then start to build a project. It sounds really obvious, but many times we really do things backwards. And they thought that the success of a design sprint depends on the foundation, how teams arrive to this sprint. So they wrote a new book. They named the method Foundation Sprint. The book is called Click because it's about how to make people want what you are building, how to make a product click with a customer. By the way, this book is coming out next week. I don't get any commission for that. But what they figured out is that if during a 2-day sprint, you come up with a founding hypothesis, then your project is set up for success from day one. And how does this look like? So the founding hypothesis consists of 3 key elements. You need to check the basics of your project. The basics means who is your customer? What is the problem that you are solving for them? What is the advantage that your team has over everyone else in the earth? What is the competitor landscape? So to figure out all the basics in the very beginning, on day one. Also to figure out the differentiation. So what will be the things that radically sets your product apart from every other solution that exists? And also to figure out the best approach to proceed with. And after the 2-day workshop with the team, you will then arrive to a founding hypothesis. The founding hypothesis sounds like this. If we help customer to solve this problem with this solution, they will choose it over the competitors because our solution, and then you place the differentiator here. So just to give you a very common example for understanding, this would be for Gmail, for example, it would sound like if we help tech enthusiasts to solve overflowing inboxes with Google Data Center power, they will choose it over Outlook, Hotmail, Yahoo, because the solution has got high capacity and it's searchable. So this is the end where we would like to arrive in 2 days, to have a founding hypothesis similar to what we could set up for Gmail right now. How we are going to nail it is we approach these variants one by one. So we are going to work separately on the customer, on the problem, on the solution, on the approach. And then by the end of the 2nd day, we are going to be able to have put together our finding hypothesis, which then we can test in the upcoming sprints or in the upcoming weeks. So let's start with the basics. So basics is your core situation where you are in right now. How we are going to work on it, we'd like to arrive to something like this that you can see now on the screen. So a 1-page plan or a 1-page situation map. What is the situation where we are right now? But how we are going to get there is a tool called Note and Vote. So we are going to gather our team. It's going to be around 5 to 7 people. And we're going to give them one question at a time. And we will give them a certain amount of time to work on their own first. This is called work together alone. We are not allowing any discussion in the beginning to avoid groupthink and to avoid that only a few people talk, and also that they contaminate their ideas to the team. but we'd like everyone to come up with solutions on their own. So we will start with the customer first, and we will ask one question from the participants to figure out who are the customer types we are serving. We give them a certain amount of time, let's say we give 5 minutes to the participants, and ask them to write the customer types that they think that we are going to serve on sticky notes. It can be virtual or actual, but we don't allow any discussions. We ask them to work alone, and they come up with their solutions or the customer types that they think that we could serve. And then we ask the second question, which is that choose the most important, and we distribute voting dots to each of them. We give 2, and we ask that please place your voting dots onto the customer type that you think it would be the most important to serve. Then also, without any discussion, participants would distribute their voting dots. This will give us an idea about what the team thinks, but we would like to know what the decider thinks. The decider is the role within the team who has got the deciding power. We will give them another color, another dot, only one, and ask them to distribute their decision on the customer type that they think would not like to proceed with. This can be the customer type, or this might be the customer type that received the most votes, but it could be completely different. But we accept the decision of the decision maker, and we put the customer type that we've been chosen to focus on to our one-page plan, and we move on to the next question. We will use the same note and vote technique. This technique that I just explained is called note and vote. We will use the same technique all over again during the 2 days. Now, the next question is going to be, what kind of problem do you think that we can solve for this customer type that we just selected? We will use the same method, collect the ideas on sticky notes, vote for the most the best idea at the moment, and then we will proceed. Then we will go on and try to understand what is our competitive advantage. What is the capacity that our team has, but no one else has? What are the insights that we have and no one else has maybe? What is the motivation our team has? Why do we want to solve this problem among so many others that we could have worked on? Also, we would like to map out the competitor landscape. We would like to understand how people are solving this problem right now. And we don't only think about commercialized solutions. We also want to think about the substitution or the workaround that they are doing as of now to solve that problem. If they are doing nothing, and that's also a competitor to us doing nothing, then this might be a red flag, because if they are not doing anything, they are also not substituting this with anything, then the problem might not be big enough for this customer or this user to search for solutions. So we might not even want to work on this. So after we nailed the basics, we will move on to the differentiation. With working on the differentiation, we would like to understand and find that sweet spot that could set us apart from anything else that exists. We would like to understand what is that we can uniquely deliver and overlaps with the thing that is super valuable for our customer. To do this, we will also set a one-page with mini manifesto. This will contain our differentiation and the principles that we think has to be followed during the decision making throughout the whole project. We will start with a 2x2 matrix. This 2x2 chart is very well known from consultancy companies. But we'd like to focus here. We are not going to map out the market landscape. We are not going to map the technology, but we would like to focus on the customer perception. We'd like to find the 2 differentiators for the X and the Y axis and their crummy opposites that will set our product completely separately apart from everything else. We'd like to position our product to the top right-hand corner alone in that quadrant. And this is super important to find the differentiator that will set us radically apart from everything else, all our competitors, all the substitutions that our people are using right now. I'd like to give you a very I'd like to give you an example. Let's take Orbital Materials. Orbital Materials is an AI company. They use AI to come up with new molecules, which then can use to make new materials. These will be synthetic solutions for materials that are scarce. And the normal thinking of people would be that no change is good and everything that is familiar is good, right? So if the customer perception, the way of looking at the world is everything that doesn't require change is good and everything is familiar is good, then our company, Orbital Material, is in a very sad place because their solution requires change and is unfamiliar, and we'll put all the other solutions in the top right-hand corner. So we'd like to find differentiation perspective from which we can say that, hey, there is another way of looking at the world. And if you agree the way how we are looking at the world, then our solution will be the obvious choice for you. And what did Orbital Materials do? They figured out a different way of looking at the world. And they said that having lower failure rates and higher quality is super important. So if you agree how we are looking at the world, and that is you have to have lower failure rates and high quality, then Orbital Materials is your go-to solution, and everything else is then pushed to the left side. So by the end of the day, we would already have mapped out our customer. We know the problem that we'd like to solve. We know our competitors, and we also know the differentiation. Knowing the differentiation is critical because this sets the way that we only need to deliver on this, right? But we have to deliver on this promise. We have to have, in case of Orbital Materials, we have to have higher quality and lower failure rates. But now we know the direction. We only need to figure out the solution. So at the end of the first day, we are already in a quite good place, but we will move on the second day to check out what are options we have. We will use the same method that we have been using during the whole day on the first day. We'll ask people to work on their own first, and then we will use the note and vote method to choose the best options. We will ask them to map or come up with all the options that we have right now. We will choose the best. We will give the decider the opportunity to choose maximum of 7 options that he'd like to investigate further. And we'll ask all the participants to create a 1-page summary for all of the options that the decider have chosen. What we'd like to understand here is that why is this option so great? And we'd like to see a sketch of that solution. So these 1-page summaries will look something like this. We will have the title, we will have a 1-sentence summary of why is this option so good, and we will have a sketch, something that you would even sketch on a napkin, showing that what do you think how this option looks like. At the end of this exercise, what we will end up with is our, just one moment, sorry. Maximum of 7 options. We will have the 1-page summary explaining all of them, and we will highlight all the criteria that they excel in, because one of them might be super cheap, the other one might be super easy to build, the other one might have a huge growth potential. So we'd like to highlight all of the criteria that they excel in. We color code these options because this will make the next exercise easier for us. And then we are back to the 2x2 matrix that we all know from the first day. And we will examine all of our options with different lenses. We will start with the customer lens because we'd like to understand which option is the easiest to use and which offers the perfect solution for our customer, opposed to just okay solution for the customer. So we will start mapping all our options on this 2x2 chart, putting up the first and then the second, the third, and so on, until all the 7 are mapped out on the customer lens. This foundation sprint offers a few default lenses that we start with, but there is always an option to come up with customized lenses. So after the customer lens, we will proceed with the pragmatic lens, because we don't only want to understand how good solution this is for our customer, but we'd like to also check which is the cheapest and fastest to build. So we will also go on and put our options on this chart until we have all of them. The reason why we use color coding is that right now we already start to see some patterns, which options are there on our chart. After the pragmatic lens, we will go on with the growth, because we'd like to understand which is the easiest to adopt, which has got the more potential customers, or the money lens, which has got the most long-term value and the more potential customers. We'd like to set up our differentiation lens. You remember in the case of orbital materials, it was the lower failure rates and higher quality. And we will go on and create custom lenses that are important for our industry. In biotech, many times it is a regulatory lens, because we'd like to understand how clear is the regulatory pathway, or how many risks do we have during approval. So we go on and map as many lenses as seem appropriate at this moment to end up with a matrix, or with a series of these matrices. And when we take 2 steps backwards, then because of the color coding, we will see that some options look better than the others throughout the many, many lenses that we have used. So in our example, for example, option 4 is our best bet. So we will move on and choose our top bets. We will choose our top bet and 2 backup, because we'd like to have some options if we need to pivot at the middle of the project. So by the end of this second day, this finding a solution or the best approach to move forward with completes our finding hypothesis. We know the customer, we know the problem, we know our competitors, we know how we are going to differentiate our product, and we already figured out what is the solution, what is the top bet that we can move on with. So the key takeaways that I'd like to highlight at the end is that purely verbal conversations are mentally unworkable. So please, if you haven't done it so far, visualize all the conversations, use sticky notes, use color coding, use note and vote techniques. Whatever helps you to visualize the otherwise so complex, mentally unworkable projects that you are working on. The techniques that I've mentioned, work together alone, is super important, because we don't allow the people to build on others' ideas at the very beginning. Will lead to more original ideas and more ideas in the end. With the note and vote, we can make sure that we can move forward. So we have got a decision at the end of the whole process. And with the magic lenses, we can make sure that we examined an option from different angles, so we can be quite confident in our choice in the end. So what I'd like to emphasize at the end that the finding hypothesis will set us up for success, because it will give us a clear direction where we can move on with some very smart validation, check if what we think needs to be true actually needs to be true, and we can move on with faster execution. So with this, I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I'd like to invite the questions that you have. Also, if you'd like to keep in touch, this QR code will lead you to my LinkedIn, and I would love to also keep in touch with all of you there. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And Victor, I think you are the one who collects the questions, right?
Yes, thank you, Kata, for your presentation. And let me emphasize everyone to make a question or write a comment. So here's one. It's a comment from Laszlo. I am working with a developer team. Members are mostly developers. In this methodology, it seems to me that we are asking questions that need significant market, customer, competitor knowledge, and should be answered by marketing.
Yes.
Can a developer team make a good decision about the product with its limited knowledge? I fear this can go sideways very easily.
Yes, thank you so much for the question. This is really brilliant and highlights one of the key things that I didn't emphasize until now pretty much. So we try to build cross-functional teams at the very beginning. We will start with 5-7 people, but the best, if it not only contains the decision maker, but it contains the colleagues from the marketing, the colleagues from the customer support, the colleagues from the customer success, whatever teams, regulatory colleagues. So whoever needs to be involved in these decisions in the very beginning, or whoever has the market insight, it's worth to spend 2 days with a cross-functional team in the beginning, so that in the moving forward, we are set to the best option possible at that moment.
Thank you.
I hope that answers the question.
If not, please write another comment. So our next question from Oshaya. I believe that the smart lenses method is similar to the Walt Disney method known in life coaching. Are you familiar with that?
No, unfortunately not. But I strongly believe in that there is nothing new in this method put together, but the genuinity and the uniqueness is that how these tools are put together, right? So we all know how these tools could be successful, but the genuine idea behind the book, and also all of the work of Jake and John, is that how they put these together to get a very good solution in 2 days. So most probably these are all borrowed from different methods that already exist. The uniqueness is how they are actually sequenced to get to where we would like to be at the end of the 2 days, which is founding hypothesis that at the end of the 2 days, we can proceed with testing.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
Here's a couple of questions for Daniel. The first one is it possible, recommended to invite different stakeholders outside of the organization to specific sections of the workshop?
So this workshop is considered one entity. So the best if someone can be there from the very beginning to the end. Of course, you can understand that some people's time is so precious that they cannot make 2 full days to be present. It would be still advertised, but if not, then these people, if they are the decision maker or the CEO of a company, will delegate their role to someone else within the team, and also will give their best answer during that period of time that we'd like their insights. But ideally, we would like everyone to be part from the very beginning to the end. If it's not possible, then we need to work around that, making the most value out of their time that they can actually contribute to this project. So we'd like to move around a bit the parts so that they are there, or they can be there where it's most important for them to be there.
Thank you. Next question is, what is the average price of this 2 days workshop?
So what do people charge for this?
Yeah, I think if it's a facilitator, what does it cost?
Yeah, it really hugely depends on the facilitator that you'd like to work with. So there are boutique agencies, consultancy agencies that would cost more. There are individual facilitators that would cost for that would ask for less. But in general, people would like to focus on value, right? So that how much would it worth for you to know the direction and set it up in 2 days, and they will tailor their price according to that. I think the very base minimum would be a few €1,000 that people ask for facilitating a 2 days workshop because of the preparation and the deliverable preparation of the deliverables that goes together with it, but always emphasizing the huge value that comes out from this, that you actually have a clear path forward and the money that it can save you down the line.
Connecting to these questions, what do you think if someone will read the book next week or later? Will he or she be able to facilitate a kind of workshop like this?
Yes, I think so, yes. First, because Jake and John write amazingly nice. So this is super simple then to understand and implement. So they have tons of examples also, so it's easy to understand. So the method will be clear after reading the book, Click. What also needs to be a bit emphasized is that being a facilitator also means that you are able to manage the energy of the room. And this might need some practice from those who are not facilitating as of now, because you need to understand and maintain the energy level of the whole team. You need to set the whole scene up for everyone can contribute with their best during these 2 days. And that's also part of the facilitation. And this is not explained in the book, but this can be also learned on YouTube channels. If you would like to check out this, there is a boutique agency amazing in this space called AJ and Smart. AJ and Smart has got tons of YouTube videos. It's available for free, and they will teach methods like this, also Note and Vote, and many other building blocks of this 2-day method that will help you to learn how to facilitate.
Okay, thank you. The next question is rather for me, so I will answer that. Are you going to make a recording available to participants? Of course, the recordings will be uploaded to YouTube, and the link you will get, I think, with the PDUs as well. And you can follow PMI Budapest YouTube channel to look for the earlier lunch and learn sessions as well. So we have still time. If you have any questions, feel free to write it. Till then, I have a question. What is your best practice to involve everyone in the first stage in the ideation? In my practice, it's not easy to involve everyone and to have ideas from them. Do you have a practice for that?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking, Victor. So the work together alone method actually ensures that everyone comes up with ideas, because you set the team at the table and you say them that, hey, I'm going to give you 5 minutes, these sticky notes, these Sharpies, and I would like all of you to come up with ideas. This might feel stressful in the beginning, but how you can overcome this is that you can say that I'm giving you 5 minutes. I'd like to have at least 5 ideas from everyone, and quality doesn't matter, only quantity, and you can come up with the wildest ideas ever. And this will make sure that everyone contributes, and everyone contributes based on their best knowledge at that moment. Also, since it is pseudo-anonymous, so you don't really know who wrote what, people normally contribute. There are only a very few cases where I've ever seen that people had a call or you had to ask them to contribute at this stage. So normally the method brings the involvement.
Okay, thank you. Back to the facilitation. In an addition question, do you offer facilitation yourself?
Yes, I do offer facilitation myself. So I do facilitation during my work right now, and I also offer facilitation as a service as a solopreneur. So if you would like to learn how to facilitate, or if you'd like to have a facilitator coming to your company or helping you with the project, then please just reach out.
So everyone can reach out via LinkedIn, I think, which you shared.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So while you are thinking about questions, let me launch a quick poll. Please rate our today's session, and we are waiting still for questions if you have in mind. Regarding the book, do you know, will it be available in Hungary or in ebook format?
Yes, it comes out on the 22nd. And if you buy an ebook format, then it's available for you already on the 22nd. You can also pre-order, and then I guess you will get it by the 22nd. I pre-ordered 8 because there was they said that whoever pre-orders 8 could go to a boot camp together with the authors, and this is how I could learn the method in February, already pre-ordering the book. So whoever needs some copies, also just reach out. I'm happy to send copies. I will have 7 that I can distribute to people.
Okay, then if we don't have any further questions, then thank you for your presentation again. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I'm glad we managed this, and I hope everyone is happy and may reach out to you for further questions.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of the day.
You too, and for everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.